Snapchat. This app was used so much back in the days, and when I say back in the days, I mean just a few years ago, because in tech, that's how quick time flies. It seemed just yesterday that we were all using Snapchat filters and putting up Snap stories, and now, the app seems dead. At least, that's what I feel. Do you guys feel the same way too? That's how it seems anyways. However, looking at the stock price, it's up almost 50% ever since it got listed, and there was a massive spike in mid-October. The share price was down over 80% since listing at its lowest point, but now, it's arguably doing better than ever. So what is going on here? So to uncover this, we'll explore number 1, what differentiates Snapchat from other apps? Number 2, how does the app generate revenue and how they're doing so far? And number 3, how do normal people and influencers make money from Snapchat? Now before we get into it, I made a similar video and explored TikTok in great detail, so check out that as well guys. So just after a year of launching, Snapchat hit 10 million active users, which is a remarkable feat on its own. The reason why this happened was, well, it offered something new which we hadn't seen before. The early adopters of the app were of course teenagers looking to get away from Facebook and join something new, something exciting. The quick and self-destructing nature of the videos allowed a kind of freedom to the younger population. They can capture in-the-moment things as they happen, share them straight away, and that's it. Perhaps the reason why Snapchat was so successful was because it allowed people to just show off the monotony of their lives in a quick and destructive way. This is the sort of stuff that you wouldn't normally post to Facebook because, well, Facebook is more reserved for curated content, not the boring and mundane one. At least, that's the way I see it. Plus, people don't always want things tracked through timelines, likes and comments. Sometimes you just want to share a moment and that's it. The app allowed creativity as well, since you can draw, write, add emojis and GIFs in a single snap, which no other app could do at the time, and match Snapchat. If you're creative and know how to use it, you can create some pretty funny drawings. It also came out with crazy amount of face filters which overwhelmed social media when they first came out, leading to more and more app downloads and usage. Some of these went viral, which of course kept adding on to the frenzy. Is it safe to say that Snapchat pioneered these filters and made them go mainstream? You tell me. Because of the availability of instant filters upon taking any photo on the app, a lot of people started to use the app's camera by default instead of using their phone's actual camera. Snapchat made it so easy to download the photo as well that made it really easy to do this. This is a huge shift if you look at it, as for some, Snapchat is essentially replacing the phone's native camera app. Social media is a tough battleground, you guys already know this. Apps need to be able to keep people on them for as long as possible and for people to keep on consuming content. But how do you get people to go on there in the first place and keep doing so regularly? How can you increase your daily average users? Introducing Snap Streaks. This pretty much gives people an obligation to go on the app and send a snap, otherwise this streak will break. If you forget to send a snap in a 24-hour period, then you have to start from zero. The interesting dynamic at play here is that you're not the only stakeholder in this, meaning that if you break the streak, you will not only disappoint yourself, but whoever the other person was as well. Now you might think to yourself, who cares? It's just a silly number that doesn't mean anything. If you're a friend in real life, then this number will likely have zero value and it won't really mean anything, but it actually turns out that a lot of people actually care. And personally, I did too. So much that they have kept a streak for over 5.5 years. Another addition that keeps Snapchat unique is the Snap Score. It pretty much measures the total of all snaps you have sent and received and displays it to everyone as if it's some sort of achievement. And of course, it is a type of achievement for some. So much that there's hundreds of videos and articles written just to tell people how to increase your score. It's stuff like this that promotes the app even more. Speaking of achievements and trophies, Snapchat used to have this feature as well. You could unlock emojis on the app by doing different things like sending a snap between 4 AM to 5 AM and unlocking this, or by getting a snap score of 500,000 and unlocking this rare emoji. This sounds pretty silly because it doesn't really serve a real purpose. I mean, you can boast about it to your friends, but what value does that actually have? To Snapchat, however, it has tremendous value because they're keeping you on the app. They've essentially gamified the app, and this is a pretty strong strategy. But this has been removed recently and has been replaced by charms, and some people think that this is actually better than trophies. but for some, they hate it so much that they've started online petitions to bring it back. As if Snapchat is going to see this and immediately reverse their decision. Snapchat also launched the Snap Map a few years ago, and this was probably its most controversial or biggest update. You can see events around the world nearby and see Snap stories from that area. You can choose to share your location as well with everybody on your friend list, which is hugely risky because you're effectively giving people an open invitation to find out where you live. Unless all you have is close friends on the app, this won't matter as much, but if you've added random people and openly give out your Snapchat username to people, then this is an issue. You can always choose to be on ghost mode and start lurking and seeing where people are and what everybody else is doing while staying completely anonymous. I will say one thing though, Snap Maps gives you a pretty cool opportunity to see what people are up to around the world in literally any country. You can see what people are doing in Yemen, or even Gaza, or even places in Africa. It's a real eye-opener and you can experience it right from the comfort of your own bed. Apart from the Bitmoji update or the Snapchat story update, the Discover page is probably one of the worst things Snapchat has released. It's essentially a newsfeed of clickbait nonsense articles that don't add any value to your day. This is just my opinion anyways. They'll reel you in with some clickbaity title like this, and then once you've been sold, you'll of course click on the link. Upon clicking on it, they'll show you some other nonsense, and as soon as you try to skip through it to find the actual content you came for, they will sneak in ads in between. Who knew a 5-second ad could feel like 5 minutes when waiting for it to finish? It completely ruins the experience and is not worth the actual content that will follow after it. Snapchat stories are something that is innovative, and this is why Instagram pretty much stole the feature. This was a game changer for the app because everyone uses Instagram anyways, and this is one of the ways that people will be using more of the app. In just a short time, Instagram was able to overtake Snapchat in terms of story usage. And this makes sense anyways. Instagram has a much more simple and clean layout, and it's easy to find and watch stories and comment. Perhaps this is one of the reasons why Snapchat is slowly losing its appeal as new updates are coming, but they aren't as exciting for the user as they are for advertisers. So this begs the question, how is Snapchat at an all-time high valuation? Well, this is all due to Snapchat's recent financial update, and to be very honest with you, I was absolutely shocked to even read these figures. Revenue increased 52% year on year, and the average revenue per user increased 28% as well. But why is this revenue increasing when we all think that Snapchat is dying? Well, the thing is, it's not dying. Daily active users grew 18% compared to last quarter, which is about 39 million more people. The average number of snaps created every day grew by 25% as well. Remember the Discover page we talked about earlier that had clickbait nonsense? Well, that actually seems to be doing quite well. Snapchat is continually investing in this and it's paying off. The watch time increased by over 50% in the last year and viewership seems to be growing. Snapchat has partnered up with celebrities like Jaden Smith, Conor McGregor and Kevin Hart to name a few. Now of course, once you add these guys to the mix, viewership is sure to grow. With COVID-19 and the election, interestingly enough, Snapchat actually didn't give any revenue guidance for the fourth quarter of 2020. Would you say that this is just a cop-out? Who knows? You can't say for sure. Nearly all of the company's revenue is coming from advertising and they seem to be doing quite well based on the stats. So it would be very unfair to say that Snapchat is dead just because you and I don't use the app. It also makes some revenue from geo filters that you can customize and design for a wedding or birthday, which is a nice touch. Now let's look into how people have made money through the app. Since it doesn't pay people based on views like TikTok or YouTube does, users have to use other methods to make money. This involves building up a following over time and then directing people over to those products or services. This is something that TikTok users have done as well, as the app pays little to nothing for views. On top of that, brands are looking to pay influencers as well to make a quick Snapchat story to promote the product, which again helps out. This differs from TikTok or YouTube in a sense that the views a Snapchat story gets is not public, it's only private, just like Instagram. So for brands, they really need to pay attention to how many views the stories are actually getting. As mentioned before, popular celebrities, comedians, and other stars have been given a platform on TikTok as their stories get promoted through the Discover page. Snapchat is heavily investing into this as they believe this is something that will keep people on the app for as long as possible. Because let's be honest, once you send or receive a snap, watch your friends' stories, there's not much to do in the app, so you'll close it and move on to something better. But through this Discover feature, it'll keep you on it for longer. When comparing to other apps, it's safe to say that it's much harder to make money on Snapchat if you're just starting from scratch with 0 followings. At least with Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, you can use hashtags and your video can go viral by being shared and being pushed out to other users. But for Snapchat, it's a different playing field. Even if your story is amazing, it doesn't mean that it will gather heaps of views. There's no real feed that you can follow if we take the Discover page out of the equation, so someone new who is just starting out might just want to stick with TikTok or Instagram to grow a following there. These are just my thoughts though. What do you guys think about this? Well guys, these are the topics that I wanted to explore. Hopefully this video was somewhat helpful. If you enjoyed it, please like, share and subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified of my uploads. Thanks for watching.